Mute. Hey, people.
I'd be excited, but wary.
Yes, I'm still excited.
I know. Well, hold on.
One second. I'm about to start stream, but must finish an important email that just came through. Right as I hit the button. This is great. Switch. One moment. Uh, so- yeah. One moment. No moment. A hero of mine from 12 years ago actually wants to work for exposure. I'm fucking... I don't know what to say right now. I c- Almost done. Sorry, people. What do you care about the new space hat? What? Almost done. Just relax. 1 sec. Every now and then I have to be interrupted to be a businessman. 1 second. I hit the stream button right as this showed up. Okay. Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to get to work on another MacBook that doesn't seem to be working properly. Here we have an A1708 with liquid damage. Let's open it up and see what's wrong with it. Before we do that, look at what Erica got me. It's a slutty anime thing. It's I've always wanted a slutty anime thing. Alright. Alright, so we're inside the MacBook. And what do you see here? That's a lot of liquid damage. And it's in the same spot as the other machine. So I'm going to take this board out of the case. Let's get an idea of what's happening. Also, look, Nitrocaster is in the chat. Nitrocaster is like Paul Daniels. He creates code and things too. And we have Paul Daniels here. How are you spending Thanksgiving? I will be here fixing stuff. I am going to be here. The new store, I'm waiting to get a floor quote today. Erica will be in Hawaii for Thanksgiving. And I will be working for Thanksgiving. Plus, I don't need to celebrate Thanksgiving with Erica. I'm going to celebrate Thanksgiving with my anime slut figurine thing here that she got me. Why don't you go with Erica to Hawaii? Because that is 3 to 5 days of not working, and I can't afford that. If I want to move to the place I want to move to, I got to make the most of the next few months. How's Oreo? Oreo shit himself last night, and I was cleaning his ass at 2 in the morning. I had to clean his paws, his underbelly, his ass. It was, ugh. You deserve a vacation. You deserve what you earn. I deserve what I earn and not a dollar less. A vacation would be nice, but I also would like to have a floor. And I'd like to be able to actually move with all the stuff that I want to have in that new space. And if I take a vacation, I will screw myself. And I won't be able to get any of those things. So I'm going to be here. I'm going to do what I did last year after the CBC piece. You just, put the work in. And then you get what you're looking for. I don't really care much about words like deserve. Because there's not really much I can do about any of those things. You can't really... It takes the control away from you. I can't really do much about what I deserve or earn or think I should have or blah, blah, blah. I would like to earn myself a new store that has a real floor. That's not a clusterfuck. So we are going to put some work in to get it. And then 6 months from now, I'm going to do some videos that show the before and the after, how nice everything is. Is Christmas an excuse for buying new apples? Christmas is an excuse to eat poorly and take off of work. I'm not saying your name because it's ridiculous, but I'm not doing another CBC interview. No. You missed the point there. All right. So. So first thing we do with all these boards is plug this in. Let's see how many amps it's taking. So it does take 20 amps. I mean, 20 volts. And it's actually taking 500 milliamps, which means this is working. My God, you're actually working? No way in hell. That's interesting. So, first thing I would do here is trim away some of the corrosion. But also, what I want to do here is go through the corroded sections, clean them up a little, but I also want to make sure I don't lose track of things that are non-essential to turning on, but essential to use, like backlight. Because maybe it is working, the customer just thinks it doesn't work because the backlight's not working. That would suck. Huh?
Do you intend on keeping the walls or tearing them down? The separators.
Which wall? Oh, the walls that she wants?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to have walls, but I just not in the beginning because that's going to cost money to put up.
So for now we're treating it as open.
Yeah, but like I want to plan as if those walls will be there because I'm going to put them in later.
Fair.
But like not now
Are you
because
gonna
that's...
keep that one to your spot?
We may actually have to get rid of the wall to my spot because the guy leveling the floor is going to have to... He said that you can't really do much around that, so you're going to have to knock it down.
Okay, so just treat it as if we're there, but they might not be.
Yeah, just treat it as if it's there, but it's not going to be there like until 6 months down the line or so.
We just traced over it on a blank page and
Oh, yeah. Yeah, build the wall and make Apple pay for it or something like that. All right, sorry about that. Interrupted by Camille. I gave Camille the figures, the drawings we got from Architect, designer lady. They gave a couple of different ideas, and we're going to choose whichever one we think is the best. Yoink. Ear rape on nasal snort. Yes, I have allergies. I had a Claritin, but it never fixes it. Hello, Cam. How are you doing today? Drop wellness because of lead may be too fast. What was Paul's reactions to the MacBook Air from yesterday with Kuo? Paul didn't see it yet, and he never will. When will the new place be operational according to plans? There's no plan for that. Yeah. When will a contractor get back to me with a proper quote? How long will they actually take to do it? Yeah, that kind of stuff, don't even bother writing that down, because everything you get told is just going to be BS anyway. It's like asking how long is it going to take to fix a board missing PM Sleep S4L. Like, you're fooling yourself if you think you have a real answer to that. Alright. I'm giving myself the budget of 1 week to find a flooring contractor that's not a scammer. Now, so I've reached out to a bunch. There's only one that appears to even be interested in giving a quote. Most of them, they take your call and then they ignore you afterwards. So you have to reach out to a lot of different contractors because you have to assume that 90% of them are just going to ignore you. Okay. Would you recommend I go to school for tech repair? If you want to do what I'm doing, no. If by school you mean watch my YouTube videos, sure. Watch Jess's, Chris Long, Tim Herman, etc. It would be silly for me to recommend you go to school to learn how to do something that I did not go to school to learn how to do. Because what I would be doing there is I'm telling you, hey, look, I managed to learn this stuff without going into debt, but you should totally go into debt to learn it, and that would be wrong. Now, perhaps I could have learned what I know now better with school, and if that were the case, I'd be advocating for it. But I don't believe that to be the case. And you can't really expect stuff like this to go into school, because by the time you actually have a course, everything is going to be changed, and it's not going to be relevant anymore. Why ignore? Are they not interested in a potential customer? Yeah, most of them aren't. Like I said, for the 30th Street space, I had about 4 contractors come by. One gave me a quote of $150,000 to redo one room, which is the one I posted. Another gave me a quote of about $195,000, which I posted. And there were 2 of them. There was Barami Contracting that never even got back to me, even though they did drawings. They just totally ghosted. No call, no phone call. And this one place called CHS Group that also totally ghosted. They showed up. This guy actually showed up in a suit. That's how you know you can't afford them, by the way, when your contractor shows up in a suit and tie and like some $200 shoes. Like, I immediately knew the moment I saw the suit, this guy's not even going to bother giving me a quote, much less overquoting me. Because I explained the project over the phone and I had showed him the budget. I knew that I wasn't going to hear back from him. Because if you can afford to wear a suit, that means I can't afford you as a contractor. And I was dead right on the money. So the guy who's doing this floor, he showed up in like contractor clothes. Like, he was covered in paint and sheetrock looking dust and shit. So that's a dude that I know you're going to be the person I can actually afford to do business with. And he wants to get back to me with a quote. He said this morning he's going to let me know what flooring would cost. But people like that, then I know I can afford you. That I see is delaminating. Sorry. Nitrocaster said Korean streamer OGE was banned on Twitch for saying "okay man" to another streamer who is transgender. Yeah, I think the sad part about that, like, I don't know that specific case. Were they purposely doing that to be malicious, or was it just an honest mistake kind of thing? The intention is going to matter a lot there, but to be honest with you, what normal people are going to take away from that is I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. So that's the sad part about stuff like that, because again, I don't know the actual situation. For all I know, that they were purposely just fucking with the person to be assholes, in which case that's kind of mean. But if they weren't, and something that's going to send a message of don't collaborate with streamers of this type, or don't mention them, and that's I think even worse. Because who wants to risk that? Huh? Did I hear? Oh. I have a feeling this is going to give me an image. It'll be just fine. I'm guessing that this perhaps was intermittently not working as a result of the corrosion. But once this goes to the ultrasonic cleaner and with all the solder connections being touched up, this should be just fine. Do you get many warranty repairs on board repair? Not a lot. I mean, obviously you're gonna have some because we're working on devices that look like complete fucking shit. You know, so let's say something had a corroded CPU MOSFET, right? And I fix it. Even if I fix the issue, that CPU may have gotten 12 volts to the face. So what if 6 months later, because that CPU got 12 volts to the face, it dies? It's not really my fault. It's not like but it is something that can happen, and you know, you just deal with it.
I don't know what's in the store.
Have you seen them with your eyeballs? And they're probably...
Do we get a question mark? Question mark folder. Come on. Yes! Alright. So there you go. Flux and hot air. I didn't even have to use my brain on that one. Store.rossmangroup.com. Get yourself some genuine Amtech flux today. It's like holy water for MacBooks. That's it. This stuff is legitimately holy water for MacBooks. It just fixed it. Sorry. Catherine's here. Hello, Catherine. Hey everybody, how's it going? Here we've got an A1466 that's not turning on. It's got a bunch of stickers on it. Let's see if we can figure out why this is not turning on, so that this stickered MacBook can go back to its owner and work again. It also has a note inside of it. Our Bafang battery's good. Bafang doesn't make batteries, they make motors. To my knowledge. I use EM3EV. They seem to have an amazing feature to them, which is that they don't blow up when you buy them. It's pretty cool. I've been asking if they would make a bigger battery in the triangle format, but they don't do custom, so I'm going to try to find one that does custom so I can get more power. You could, I suppose, underfill the whole thing, Christoph, but I'm kind of curious how that would work. It could, AL. I would assume, but why not use software to accomplish it? Or is software not working with your machine? I'm also curious if it would be best... No, that wouldn't work. Thank you for everything you have shared. Thank you, Ivan. Ah, you use Linux. That's why you're trying to hack your laptop with soldering resistors to it to do something that you should be able to do within the operating system easily on a... Yeah. Yeah, I don't envy you. I remember those silly old days where I would spend 2 hours on my laptop to get the trackpad to work properly when in Windows it just worked out of the box. In the name of freedom. I remember those days where I would have to do SCSI emulation or something to get my IDE DVD-ROM drive to work with K3B when in Windows it just worked out of the box. Yeah, that was a lifetime ago for me. That was the lifetime ago, back when I thought freedom meant free software rather than freedom as in free time to not have to fuck with shit to get it to work as it's supposed to out of the box. Yeah. Yeah, I was using Linux from 2003, end of 2002, yeah. November of 2002 through to the end of 2014. And, yeah. I'm not kidding. When the T440 came out in Windows, to get the scrolling to work normal, it was immediate. On there, I remember spending hours trying to find a working xorg.conf or something like that. I remember trying to get my Stream Deck to work in Linux, like a few years ago, before it, like, all this work. And on Windows, it's like click a button and it just works. I know you guys remember SCSI emulation to get your DVD burner to work in K3B. I know that some of you watching this are old enough to remember what that was like. Oh, man. No, screw all that. There's one form of freedom that I value nowadays above all else, and that's free time. Alright. Let's see. I'm going to turn on my power supply, put it on the screen, see what's going on here. Just take it 700 milliamps, so it looks like it's working. See if it gives us something on the screen. Freedom from setting up a stream title is the most important one. Al says on Windows it worked. So that's the thing. What's more important to you? What's more important to you? Using your laptop the way you want to use it? Or being able to say that you use Linux? Like, if you're being honest with yourself in your heart of hearts, and I'm saying this as somebody who kicks myself in the face for 12 years, torturing myself to get basic shit to work. Like, I'm editing video, and I would like for the playback of the video to not destroy the CPU. Just something basic, like, can you use VA API within the video editor? So if I have a laptop that only has an Intel CPU, you can actually use the GPU part of the Intel CPU for video decoding in the playback screen rather than just destroying my CPU and pegging it 100%. Like, what's more important to you? Being able to say to yourself, I am a user of free software, or having your free time back? That's all Lewis sucks at setting a stream title is a totally accurate stream title. Alright, so we don't get anything on the screen here. So the first thing to ask ourselves, is this a no backlight issue or a no image issue? No image is going to be different to troubleshoot than no backlight. So let's just restart this thing. We're going to have the multimeter on the screen using Paul Daniels' software. Paul Daniels' software works on all platforms. It's beautiful software. When it works, that is. And hey, look at that. His software stopped working already. I opened my mouth to say something nice about it. The serial plug in the back of my multimeter is loose and it fell out. God damn it. If Paul Daniels' software worked with the multimeter over Wi-Fi, I wouldn't have to do this. But Telling you the crap we go through here. Okay. Now remember, you cannot check for image and backlight like this properly because the machine's going to think it's closed. You need to open it like this. See? Machine is open. And then we test. Alright, so let's see. What do we have for image? Actually, you're taking no milliamps at all. Turn on. Turn on, you bastard. Okay, 3 volts on the screen. Now, 3 volts on the screen means there is an image. Let's see what we got for backlight. Bam, 8.5 volts. So backlight's not on. So what do I mean by 3 volts for screen and backlight? Or measuring voltage to see if I have the screen backlight. That is an excellent, excellent question. Let's open up the schematic in the board view and go over it. So here we're going to open up the schematic in the board view in Paul Daniels' software, which always seems to, for some reason, default to this useless board view that who has a board on a desk vertically? What is this? I bet when Paul Daniels records his YouTube videos, he records them vertically. Like, what is this shit? Not only does the software default now to opening the board view vertically, but he changed the button. You can't use R to rotate it anymore. Ugh! Awful! Awful! I demand a full refund. Alright, but let's open this page up on the screen. So, when you have no image, there are 3 steps to getting an image. The first is you have to make sure the CPU is on, that you have CPU vCore. The second after that is you have to make sure you're getting an image. Now, the screen is going to negotiate with the machine getting 3 volts sent to it. See this? U8300 is a chip that when it gets EDP panel power is going to take 3.3 volts and shoot it out. So think of EDP panel power as the light switch. Think of this as the electricity going to the light, and here's the going to the switch, and here's the electricity going to the light. So what I was measuring for 3 volts is right here on pin 2 of L8304. If I have 3 volts here, that means that the screen has communicated with the computer, said, "Hi, I'm a screen. Give me power now. I'm this type of screen. I'm the type of screen that Tim Cook wants to have in a MacBook, so work." After that, backlight voltage. PPHV SOSW LCD Backlight. So this over here is going to be backlight voltage, and I got 8 volts. So let's see where that comes from. Paul Daniels says you're a user, so yeah, users are the worst. User and customer are slurs in repair business and in software. I'm the worst customer in the world. I feel bad that Paul Daniels has to deal with people like me. He makes excellent, amazing software. It's just, he has idiots that use it. And the best known person that uses the software is a total fucking moron. Alright, so take a look at this over here. So this circuit is going to take 8 volts. This is going to take 8 volts from PP-D3 hot, which is the battery. Goes through a fuse. Goes through a transistor to turn on. Then this chip over here is going to switch it to ground after this coil. And the faster it switches it to ground after the coil, the larger the spikes are over here as the coil gets angry and rages. So this is the proper scientific definition of how a DC to DC boost circuit works. So just pay attention in case you don't understand how DC to DC boost works. So you have your low voltage and it goes to a coil. Then you're going to have an LED driver. What does the LED driver do? The LED driver is going to switch that voltage after the coil to ground. And when you do that, you make the coil really mad and angry. And then the coil is going to come back with more voltage in the form of a spike than what was going into it. So let's say you had 8 volts going into it. As you short the coil to ground, right afterward here, it's going to get mad. And then you're going to get spikes of 25 or 27 volts here. And the faster it does that, the more voltage you're going to get. Now, you need that to be saved, because you can't have a spike of 27 and then 0, a spike of 27, 0, a spike of 27 and 0. Your screen's going to wind up giving you epilepsy. What you need is a steady 27. And that's what these capacitors are for over here. These capacitors are like a battery. It's going to store that voltage, and you're not going to have that ripple. It's going to just average it out to a nice, smooth 27 volts. Now, the other problem here is that you have 27 volts over here, but you have 8 volts over here for the battery. So you're storing 27 volts on what is the same straight line back here as what's in the battery. That would be bad. You don't want 27 volts to go back through your entire circuit and kill it. That's what the diode is for. Voltage can go here, but once those 27 volt pulses go here, they're trapped, and it can't go back and destroy stuff. And there it is. So because this chip makes that chip mad and go raw and gets angry, you get more voltage, spelled MOAR, voltage. So let's take a look at this circuit. What do we need for this to work? Well, first we need 5 volts in, because over here it says VIN, 5 volts. Next we need it to be told to turn on, just like any light switch. A screen light switch is no different from the light switch in your kitchen. So on your kitchen, you need to flip a switch for the light to turn on, and here you need to send voltage to BKLEN, backlight, enable, in order to get voltage. So I need 3 volts there. And the next thing we're going to need is feedback. So this is going to be making the coil mad, and the madder it makes the coil, the more voltage, the more that we get out of the coil. So how does it know when to stop? Because if it keeps making it mad, we're going to get 50 volts, 80 volts, 200 volts, and the screen's destroyed. But if we don't make the coil mad enough, then we're only going to have 18 volts, 16 volts, 12 volts, and that's not good enough. So the same way that when you're driving, you need to be able to look out the windshield to see where you're driving and what the speed of traffic is, we have feedback over here where the chip is going to see what it's creating. And 2 of the most common causes for there to be 8 volts at backlight is A, feedback is missing. So if the chip can't see what it's doing when boosting, it just says, fuck it, I'm not boosting. The same way, if something covered your eyes while you were on the road, you would stop the car. You're not going to keep driving when you can't see. And the second cause is backlight enable missing. If that voltage is missing, it's not going to turn on. Many people just jump to replacing the fuse, but that's dumb. There's no reason to replace the fuse here because we have 8 volts over here. If this fuse were bad, this fuse is sitting between an 8 volt line and output. If I have 8 volts at output, then obviously this fuse is good. Obviously this transistor is opening. Obviously this coil is coiling. And the diode is dioding, and so on and so forth. And I also know I don't have a short to ground, so it's no use checking this, this, and this. So that one measurement where I see 8 volts over here, the reason I check that before I check the fuse is because it's that one measurement tells me multiple pieces of information that multiple measurements would have to tell me. So I would have to measure continuity of the fuse, make sure that this transistor is opening as a result of this signal and this signal being present, make sure the coil is working, make sure the diode is working, and make sure there's no short circuit to ground. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The measurement of whether the fuse is good, whether this transistor is opening as a result of these 2 signals being present and these 2 transistors opening, whether this coil is good, whether there's a short to ground here, whether this diode is good, and whether there's a short to ground these caps, I actually have an answer to every single one of those individual measurements by doing nothing other than measuring voltage on output. Once I have 8 volts here, there can't be a short to ground, because if there was, there wouldn't be 8 volts there. This diode has to be working, this coil has to be passing, this transistor must be opening, and this fuse must be good. So now I know I've narrowed down my problem to either feedback or enable, or perhaps the chip is bad. And that makes life a lot easier for me. So one of the things I'm doing when I make these measurements, even if you don't understand why I'm making them, why am I measuring the voltage at output rather than the fuse, I want you to understand the thought process behind them so that with other circuits, you can gain an understanding and then make those measurements for yourself based on a thought process you came up with rather than just please borrowing and copying what I'm doing. So hopefully that makes sense. Now we're going to take this apart and take a look at what the board looks like on the other side. Also, everybody in the chat, Please give Paul Daniels a warm thank you and welcome for his amazing software that made the demonstration possible today. At Paul Daniels and say thank you. I did not learn this at a university. At a university, they teach the DC to DC boost circuit a little different than the transistor, than the coil gets mad at you. Also, I'd suggest saying thank you to Paul Daniels on his channel, youtube.com/19PLD73. That's youtube.com/19PLD73. The coil wants to put the tip in, indeed. Mostly self-taught, yes. You learn by opening, having theories, testing your theory, reading, learning, theory, test theory, apply, so on. That's sad, Copass. And there you have it. Bad LED driver. And I believe the feedback ball is going to be entirely burned. So the feedback ball is going to be the one on the bottom right. Now, as I'm replacing the chip, before I finish getting this off, can anybody tell me why the feedback ball would be the ball that's the most burned every single time there's liquid damage? Why is the feedback ball the one that's always in the worst condition? Why is this one always the worst condition? Higher potential. Great. Good explanation. Yes. That's backlight voltage. Remember, feedback is seeing what it creates. That's the highest voltage. You have 5 volts coming into the chip. You have all these 3 volt enable signals and communication, but 27 volt for backlight is going to be the worst. And you also have switch. The switch. Notice that the switch trace is at the top is also a little nasty as well. Now let's see if that pad can be brought back in the corner. That's mostly gone. So I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to scrape at the probe point right beneath it. And then we're going to run a wire there. Now these 2 holes over here are actually backlight output. Check this out. Whoops. Wrong button. Backlight, backlight. Now that's feedback. So I'm actually going to make sure that that hooks up to there just in case it's broken here. I'm going to anchor it here. Okay, now we're going to cut our wire. I made a little question mark in there. Sorry, hit the wrong button in OBS. My bad. The music I had on started playing. Sorry about that. I know, I suck. I know. I'm sorry. Alright, I'm gonna get myself a new LED driver, and we'll be right back.
So we do it for 200?
250. Oh yeah.
Yeah, 200. But it needs a speaker.
Boom.
Or
250.
Once the battery's in, and let me know the next steps.
Well, best case scenario, we get the battery works.
But how am I gonna know that?
We'll either email or call you and say it worked, this is your
Fine.
total, you can come pick it up, or
Okay.
however you want to do that.
Yeah, my husband.
And if it's not, we're gonna reach out and say, you know, the battery didn't work.
Now
We
we
also need
okay, let me just charge it. They sent the invoice.
Traffic jam, traffic jam. Okay, boomer. Okay, doomer. Okay, boomer. Is Paul Daniels a boomer? Or is he a doomer? What the fuck is this audio routing shit? Why is... God damn it. Oh god, that was a... Okay, for some reason my sound stopped going out my Bluetooth headphones when I went to charge them. So I went to charge my Bluetooth headphones, and because Shure Bluetooth cable turns off when you do that, it automatically switched the output of my music to the virtual audio cable, which I use when I'm interviewing somebody so I can have their audio go to a separate track, which has a compressor on it, which meant that probably deafened you all. I'm sorry. I'm having a bad day with this. I apologize. I apologize. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I just took my headphones off to charge them. I'm sorry. Oh, man, that's kind of sad. Oh, fuck. Okay. Yes, it's all muted. My apologies. I am sorry. I broke something. We need to have precautions in place for this to not happen in the future. I feel like the guy in the South Park I'm sorry meme. Do any of you remember the South Park I'm sorry meme? From that oil spill executive? That's about as sincere as my apologies. I can't stop laughing. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop apologizing because it just makes me more of a douchebag. Alright. Let's get that chip on there. Indeed, Kopaz, I deserve to be called a boomer today. What? My chip. We'll green that up later. Let's file this a little bit. Alright, now we see if we have a backlight. Sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry. So sorry. So sorry. Oh man, that South Park episode is so good. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. Okay. What voltage are we getting at backlight output? 21. 0? Oh yeah, you turned off. Why did you turn off? Why are you taking 30 milliamps? Hey. Turn back on, you piece of... Come on. Thank you for watching all these seasons that you invested in watching Battlestar Galactica. Now I reveal to you that it's just a religious cult film. Har har har, God is great. Can you explain? I haven't never seen that show. Okay, what do we got on backlight? Nothing. You're brain dead. Why are you brain dead? Is there a blinking question mark folder? The moment I tapped it, it went off too. Doomer. Boomer. Did I not run my wire properly? Let's see what it does with an operating system out of curiosity. Stargate is another series you should watch. Perhaps. Excuse me. Okay, so we've got 6 volts on backlight. We have an Apple logo. Strangeness. Did the fuse blow? 8 volts there. Alright, it looks like my backlight fuse that was working blew. Let's take a look at the backlight fuse. Excuse me. Oh god. Annoying. Because we had 21 volts, and then we had 8, and then we had 6, but then we had 25. So something's funny here. Okay, that's our backlight fuse. There we go. That explains it. Yeah. Wow. Why'd I leave this on the board?
He's got 30 seconds to get on the voice.
Do you really only have 30 seconds?
Yes, around like a minute or so.
Why? What happens?
Because then the phone dies.
The phone dies after? I need stressful music. 1 second, David. I'm going to play stressful music for you.
The Final Fantasy battle music.
Something...
Come on, we're at 656.
Final Fantasy 9. Oh man, this is gonna die.
You're gonna have to get him in pieces then.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be like right away. It's just some.
No. It's actually, you have a gig to copy.
Is it?
Yeah. So you're gonna have to do it by threes, I think.
Let's hope they actually go. You know, the first time I was able to.
Alright, we got a fuse that you could buy off of store.rossmangroup.com if you wanted to. It's right here and ready to be removed. We can remove that fuse. Solder. Solder. Soldering a fuse. Soldering a fuse. Soldering a fuse. Soldering a fuse. For all I know, the fuse is actually good. It's just that pad is disgusting. So lots of scraping to do here. Actually, yeah. What pad? Wow. What pad? Okay, a little bit of scraping, modifying. Aluminium. How do you say aluminium? Aluminum. Aluminium.
Aluminum, don't let him tell you different.
It's aluminium. Yeah, that looks better. I'll do that.
Nice.
Ugh.
Maybe just permanent this one this way.
It might be. I'm not really sure. Okay.
That's some classic Paul Daniels humor right there. There's no you in honor. I like that.
It's a copy of itself.
Yeah. Good.
Fuck that cap. Did you just fix an iPhone 3?
Yeah. But the guy sent us a donor with it too.
It didn't work.
The donor didn't work?
No. It was actually worse condition.
Nice. You do it? You back? Or just...
Oh no, just nasty cap.
3, 2.
Doom.
They can always put the restart. Yeah. How many is it? That's like 60, right?
I think
Halfway there.
All right, wait for that to cool off for a second.
Tell him the estimate literally takes 5 to 10 minutes for him to find out what's going on. Tell him it usually does not take longer than 10 minutes for him to give a price estimate. And guess what? I have. Is it long enough, do you think?
Yes. Actually, don't respond. Don't do that. Yeah. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to have the heads replaced.
Of course. Yeah, bad head. Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
Here. What's this?
That's what I'm
I'll
saying.
be you.
Should I add like a time for diagnostic into that mail-in can response thing?
It's there already.
No. It's not. I don't think there's any
Really?
time quote on there at all. I think it says it can take anywhere from a few days up to 6 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, you can add it. Why not?
For like a diagnostic, what should I put? A week?
5, yeah. I would say
5
5 business days.
Shit, I'm rusty.
Try.
Okay.
5 to 7, but just put it in there.
Okay.
For millions, it's always longer.
That's what I'm saying. We're trying to add notes to your map. We're trying very hard.
You're trying what? Oh.
The layout. I'll say the layout.
Lewis.
I haven't flown a drone in so long.
I know.
I miss my little drone. Watch, I'm gonna hit.
It's not on the driver's place.
Damn it! I thought I was gonna make it flip at you right as you showed up, but the battery went low.
This is the only one that we like, all of us. For the front only.
Yeah, you can't have ones with this in the middle because there's gonna be a ramp here. This is gonna go up, so having.
Well, also, if this is open, a customer can walk straight to the back. And there's nothing to stop them. And
Yeah, I
there's nothing
agree.
we can do to stop them.
I agree.
And what if they have a gun? I don't know.
If they have a gun, then you're gonna, you know.
Then I'm gonna die. That's fine. But I'm saying,
Yeah,
if
but
you
you're
just walk to the back
no,
and
you're
kill
gonna
everyone
you're gonna
except
take
this
it.
one person.
Yeah, but you're gonna take that gun from him.
Okay. But we started doing this, and these are the only things that we've done so far.
I like it.
So there's that.
Can I hit Kevin with a drone?
You probably can.
No, he's working. Let him work.
Oh.
It's been a very exciting day, which is why you're not supposed to look at days.
Can I hit Hannah with a drone? I think she's telling me that she didn't do fresh test today.
It's not that I didn't do it. It's just it's been this today. Is he still mad?
No, he understands though. He just didn't know what you were telling him.
Oh fuck! I'm sorry.
God damn it, dude.
I tried to make it do a flip manually. No more drone.
Oh my god.
No more drone. All right, our board should be cool now. Yeah. Let's see if we have a backlight. Ah, crap. Touched the wrong thing to the wrong thing. Okay, come on. Turn on. Turn on. Go, 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 go. Okay. Do we get a lit up question mark folder? Come on, show me a lit up question mark folder. Let's see, what does the good old multimeter say? If we put the Paul Daniels software on the screen. 25 volts. Yep, that's going to be a lit up question mark folder. 25 volts is a backlight. And there we go. So we have a backlight. So we had a couple issues here. The first problem was that the LED driver chip was entirely corroded. And the main part that fails on all of these is always feedback. The reason feedback fails first is because feedback is where the highest voltage in the system is. That's why it's not a coincidence that always corrodes first. After we replaced the chip and ran our jumper wire for feedback, we also had to replace the backlight fuse. The backlight fuse may have actually been good, but the connection to the board was so badly corroded, and this thing costs like 17 cents, so why not? So we did that. Now we have a backlight. Hopefully my explanation of how a DC to DC boost circuit helped, as well as my explanation as to why I make the measurements I make in the order that I make them to be as efficient as possible. Hopefully this video has helped you. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope you learned something. Cut! Are you shooting the iPhone 3? 1 sec. What are you shooting? Can show them what you're shooting. Why are you working on an iPhone 3? Look what he's doing to the iPhone 3. It was only turning on to get data in 30-second increments. I got the drone to do a manual flip, but unfortunately it flipped on you. So if you make it, if you have it free fall and then right as it's halfway flipped, put the propeller on, it does a full 360 flip. At least it didn't fall into a drive. This time. Huh. Okay, I gotta respond to some tickets. Apparently, just not had time for any of them today. So I'm gonna do that before we move on to the next motherboard. So I will see you later.